Welcome back to the Wild West Tennis Podast, brought to you by Quality Shot Tennis. My name is Bradley Falkner, and I'm joined today by the one and only Charlie Fox. Now, Charlie, I asked you to send me what your job title was. Can you just help me out? I'm old.
It's fine. I own a production and social media content studio, and it's called Sift Creative. So I guess we'll call it Owner Sift Creative.
So, oh, great. So you essentially...
I wore the hat just to make it easier to remember, but I didn't keep it. Well, I didn't wear it low enough. It's okay.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you're the production guy. You should know better, or maybe there are no accidents. Charlie, one of the things you did recently, if I recall, is for Laver Cup. Do you want to talk about your involvement in that?
Yeah. So we work closely with the ATP Tour, act as kind of an extension of their in-house team, and do a lot of their shooting and editing. And so we did got a little call the week before Laver Cup. We were planning to be out there with a crew for them, but got a call a week before when this guy Federer, this former player now, was announcing a retirement. And so
Richard,
I think it's Richie Raji,
begins with an R.
Something with an R. Federer.
No, that's Roger Federer. Thank you.
Yeah, there it is, Roger. Yeah, so Roger, he announced a retirement somewhat out of the blue. So our workload picked up a bit. It was kind of going to be a little breezy week heading into Laver Cup, but we got a call we started prepping some retirement content the weekend before, and on Monday we got a call that he was ready to do an interview with the tour on Tuesday. So kind of rallied the troops quickly and got that interview done, and then just edited some content for the big screen, some stuff for social media. We're taking full credit for Federer and Rafa crying and holding hands on the bench because they were watching the recap video we made that was playing in the stadium. Yes.
It was it
had nothing to do with the retirement or the Ellie Goulding song that, her singing, serenading them. It was 100% the edit. And that's the story that we're sticking to. So,
well, Charlie, it sounds like it was a tearjerker. And I think that I wasn't there, unfortunately. I live in Mexico. I don't know if you knew that.
I've heard on the grapevine.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Not sure how anybody hears anything on a grapevine, but I've heard it.
Well, you've never. Well, I have another podcast about champagne and grapes and vines and lines, but that's not.
It's hurtful that I'm not invited to that one. You're probably smart to. You're smart.
Not a big drinker, are you?
Not. I mean, I had my day out on the road. Spent some time back in the day. Now, wife, baby. It's there's not really a lot of.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a new ball game these days.
Yeah, and if you have to do any feedings, well, that probably sounded weird, but if you have to change diapers, if you have to do something because you're a dad, tough.
Well, you've given me a full excuse. I told my wife I am locked down for 30 minutes. So
the clock's ticking.
I'm not. There's no diaper. We'll push this a little longer so we don't have to go change diapers. But
no, because I don't want your unblemished record as the diaper changer. I mean, you're kind of the Roger Federer of diaper changing, fatherhood, and all things, right?
That's what I said. I've hurt my knee changing, taking him out of a bath. Yeah. So, kind of Fed-esque in my movement around, with a baby in my hands.
And Charlie, I wanted to also get to something that I don't know if all the viewers know, your tennis lineage. So if you don't mind, could you, for those people who haven't read my favorite tennis book, it's called A Handful of Summers.
I mean, kind of already disrespecting the lineage, but that's fine. If that's your favorite tennis book, that's okay. It is a great book.
Well, actually I have it on tape, so I'm not a very good reader. It's taking me, but your father's prominent. And for the people that haven't read A Handful of Summers, could you briefly give us your father's resume as a professional and or amateur tennis player?
Yeah, he played before the game was open, so there was a time with Rod Laver and Roy Emerson and Fred Stolle and these legends of the game. And so
all the guys he beat to win the LA Open. Is that what?
Yeah, he said. I think our family is going to go down with this as the only person to ever do this. I can't actually fact check that, but he beat all 4 major winners from that year in a row to win his hometown tournament in LA. So he beat Tony Roach and Roy Emerson in the final, Fred Stolle and Manola Santana as well. So a pretty rough little foursome in a row there. And he was a grad student at UCLA, driving his motorcycle in.
Is where they held isn't that where they held the tournament?
It was actually back then. It was at the LA Tennis Club, but it wasn't far. He used to ride his motorcycle in, and that was that was a pretty big claim to fame for him in front of his home crowd, and also so a very accomplished player in the U.S. and ended up coaching as well in the game and coached Pepperdine, the Waves.
He had a pretty good player one year. Do you remember that guy? He has a cool first name.
You do. It's I don't know if the name. I mean, last name's cool, Gilbert. The first name.
Yeah, right.
I guess it is your name, so I guess it is Bradley. So go figure. Yeah, so Brad Gilbert played on his team, and they had a lot of great teams over the years. They got to number 1 ranking, and he ended up also he's a sports psychologist as well, and wrote a few books. So author. How
I'm the better player. Why can't I win?
Yep. And how dare you not say that's your favorite tennis book?
Yeah, I'm never the better player, but I still can't win. So maybe your dad might want to. I'm the worst player. Why can't I
win? That's probably another book. That's more of a book for people who can win but have problems doing so. There might be another book for you if you just can't win because maybe the guy's or girl or baby or boy or little kid's better than you.
Charlie, this is something you'll like. Steve Flink was on our podcast a couple of weeks ago, and your dad had an injury. Your dad was a right-handed player. And obviously one-handed backhand. Your dad had a wrist injury, and Steve was a college tennis player as well. He played at Stetson, played number 1. So Steve was decent. He played your dad lefty, and your dad crushed him. And your dad was like 40.
Yeah, he's a rough. I mean, his right shoulder in the last probably 4 or 5 years is pretty shot from years of playing, and he is still out there battling, and he's full lefty these days, and he refuses to, and he's one-handed backhand with the lefty because he thinks that putting a second hand on there is cheating when he's playing lefty because he feels like he's getting a little help with the right hand. So he commits to full lefty, and he's like, I don't want any. I'm like, it's not cheating, man. You can't get there, but it's good.
Why would he say it's cheating? I mean, Cliff Drysdale, he's around your dad's age. He had a great two-hander. Why would
he thinks it's cheating? He thinks it's cheating in the sense of he likes the full rubbing it in people's face that he beats him lefty, and so if he has the right hand assisting, you could make the excuse. This is a guy who's hyper competitive. This is not don't need to tell you. So yeah. Also, cheating also comes down to needing to play points, and he just hits down the middle these days. So also don't think it's cheating, but it's that's his story, and he's sticking to it.
Charlie, you're a very fine tennis player, right?
That's what I'll tell anyone who will listen, as long as you can't show video on this podcast, can you?
No, but
I'm a great tennis player. I'm very, very, very good.
You are. No, you're actually.
I'm amazing. I'm the best player that no one's ever heard of.
Oh, how do you measure yourself against other players, Charlie?
Not very good. I can.
By height, then yes, maybe you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That wasn't very
No,
cool.
I can hit the ball around a little bit. It looks okay. It doesn't look great, and there's a reason why I'm where I'm sitting. And there's
Charlie's actually lying for the first time in his life. He's a fantastic tennis player.
No, I'm okay. I played a very, very low level of college, and when I say played, anything with college is also a stretch because I quit college tennis after a month. So, yeah, I guess
nobody likes a quitter except
no, but my dad just never made the quitting book. If I'm the better quitter, why can't I win?
Right.
That kind of makes sense. If I'm the better quitter, I guess I'm not winning because I quit. So yeah, well, it was a good run. It was a great month. Great month of college.
It was actually three weeks, and you were very generous with the line calls too. So I appreciate it.
I was a generous line. My eyes are not good, and probably Jewish guilt. I always felt bad calling anything close, so it was always nothing like having that hyper competitive dad watching me call balls that are 5 feet out in big
well, yeah. I guess the idea is unless it's clay, like if you don't know it's in, and I know that's the kind of guy you are. And I love your dad, and I love your mom, and your brother I don't know as well. But can we talk?
You could love him too.
Okay, that's cool. Evan, right?
Evan, yeah, good memory.
So what's the head-to-head with Evan? Let's forget it. Let's just keep this about you.
I was gonna say that's painful. It's painful. We haven't played in a while, but he, a lot to a little for him. It was big brother syndrome. Even when I felt like I was a better tennis player, why couldn't I win? And I felt like maybe there's a book that I should have read that I didn't. That would have been a good time for it.
You should have got the Cliff Notes because it's a good read, but you don't need to read the whole thing. I mean, your his books are all basically the same version of the same thing, which means basically just deal with it.
I'm sure he's going to really appreciate the 3-4 books that have come out to boil it down into that. You've just
deal
cost
with
him. You just cost him like a bunch of people going out to the bookstores and buying it now because you've ruined it.
Oh yeah, your kid's not going to college now. He'll have to go to community college, and
he's probably would have. I mean, that would still be a step up for him where he's trending at this point. He's 2 months, but he can't speak, can't do much, can't stand. I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, you should because that's your fault. But Charlie, I mean, are you going to do that thing like I don't know what tennis player the dad had like the tennis ball over the crib?
I actually did do that the other day. Not that specifically. It was I went out with my wife, who's the mother of our child, so that's how that works.
I hope so.
And he was crying when we thought we planned it out where it was kind of in the middle, perfect with a nap, and right as we got to the courts, he lost it and was just. He
lost his lunch, or he just lost
no, he just lost it like 2-month-old and a little confused at what life's throwing at him. And so
kind of like your dad, you mean? I mean, sorry.
Similar, but a few less curse words. And he started crying. And so I put on the little baby Bjorn. I was hitting some volleys while my wife was hitting. And we did that. I'd say it's arguably cuter than the guy getting the balls dropped him, but similar to my tennis, no video and everyone will just have to take the word for it.
Charlie, I want to also let the viewers all I can't mention how many it's like we're probably number one, so
I mean wouldn't expect anything less.
Do you remember when you were an intern for the Tennis Channel Open?
I do actually. I mean, yes and no. I feel like part of it, I feel like it's a repressed memory. I've put it away. It was painful. It's been like, even you bringing it back is like starting to bring some just feelings. But cool. I do. Really like tennis, and I was actually I was your intern. I was your intern. Yes. You were a phenomenal boss. I mean, or not, I guess I can thank my career path to you. Actually, that was my first stint You gave me my first
Most people do, Charlie. Many people working in tennis today have me to thank.
I know. Federer, I don't know if you heard his whole speech. They cut off the end of it. It got a little long, but I think the end was he mentioned you.
He did. In fact, the guy, well, he's a great man. If he's on, who runs this website, told me that. And I expected it. And, you know,
it's still nice to hear it. It's still nice, even if you're expecting it.
Yeah. And the thing is, the private jet, gotta be honest, it wasn't big enough. So I was just like, let's just.
I know. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, you guys think it's nice to fly private with Fed, but it's really, I mean, it's hard. You feel bad complaining when you're in there and you're like, hey, this is not comfortable, but you know, it's nice to have someone I can kind of talk to about that.
You know what's cool, Charlie? The champagne, is it Moet? I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, Moet. I don't know. You're the one with the champagne podcast, so you tell me how you guys say it.
But that's the Grapevine podcast, and I can't.
Fair. Yeah, you guys don't go. You guys kind of avoid any brand names. Makes sense.
Yes. At this point, we do.
Brand agnostic.
Charlie, you had an interesting experience that year because basically you were chained to a desk. Do you remember that?
Actually, I do. You know, I don't remember being chained to it. I remember I did spend some time at a desk. Like I was transcribing. I think you had me transcribe. I mean, they have programs for that now, but I did transcribe a Beck Cartwright interview.
Yeah, Leighton Hewitt's wife.
Leighton Hewitt's wife. I remember. I don't remember what I transcribed. I remember doing that. I also remember it was a pretty historic event, actually. I don't know if you know why. Do you know why?
Something to do with the round robin?
Yeah, it's the last round robin. They had ATP they were trying round robin for a year, and that event was in February. So you can kind of tell how round robin worked as an experiment. Yes. But you know, if you don't try, you don't get. But yeah, you sent me in to go spy in the player lounge. I guess you didn't want to be like, you know, waiting around, and so you sent me in.
My credential wouldn't get me in.
Doesn't make sense because I was your intern. So how did your intern have better access than you? I feel like you just didn't want to go into the fire with the wolves, and I went in there, and I remember James Blake was not happy about the result of how it went down. I'm not going to get into it because I think people would be bored, but essentially the round robin disappeared because it became very mathematical and a lot of, so he was upset about the outcome of, the decisions. And
ends were broken in that environment.
You know what, now that I know James a little bit, and he's a very nice guy, and I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I think there was maybe a pen thrown against the wall. I can't confirm or deny if it was broken.
Yep.
And it wasn't sent towards anyone's direction other than a wall, which may or may not have pen marks on it now. And they should frame it because that's a historic moment in tennis.
It certainly was.
Probably could tell you about it even better.
It did, in fact. And that's what, you know, what impressed me the most is that when you came back and gave me the scoop, I was actually sleeping at my desk. I don't know if you remember that. I used to.
No, I do. It was weird that you actually brought a pillow and a sleeping bag. Like I've seen people fall asleep at work. I've seen people put their head down on a table at work. I've never seen anyone actually show up at work with a backpack, a sleeping bag, and a pillow. Because I'm like, this guy is planning to sleep. There's no accidents. But you set a tone when you do that. No one's questioning you in terms of what your motives are.
No.
Kind of a good move.
It's the beauty rest, because you said I haven't aged since this picture.
It's all the sleep.
Wearing the same outfit.
I know. I honestly, I want to see that photo closer because it's hard for me to believe that photo was 20 years ago. Come on. You look better now.
No kidding. Well, it's because I've caught up on my sleep. Because in those days, as you know, I would take any chance to get a nap in. Yeah. Now, I just basically, I'm the laziest. Well, you know this. I mean, I just basically sleep. I'm like my cat. My cat sleeps actually less than I do. In fact, I
don't know how much your cat sleeps, so that's not necessarily an impressive stat. Unless I'm not a cat guy, so do cats sleep a lot? Cat nap.
My cat
that makes sense.
Corona. So yeah, that should tell you something. Now, Charlie, if you don't mind, there was a tennis event. It was Laver Cup. The world.
Did we just go on a 20-minute tangent? Was that
Oh,
is this, are we still, was that where we were going? Are we back to Laver Cup? We're back.
Yeah, unfortunately. And
I'm into it.
The world stunned the world. It shocked the world. McEnroe got his first W as the captain.
First W.
Jack Sock, Felix, and a guy named Francis Tiafoe, who, correct me if I'm wrong, you have some experience with that youngster, don't you?
We do, yeah. We did a lot of content with this current generation as they were coming up, and have seen Francis go from becoming a boy to a man over the last, I don't know, 6-7 years. He's impressive. I mean, that is the environment for him, is this, he plays big time tennis on the big stages. And I think, I think his biggest aspect is he's also found a way to kind of clean up some of the results on the Tuesday midday match when there's not many people in the stands. And that's kind of the difference between the guys who pull off the upset and the guys who are top 20, top 15. And I think he's definitely trending in the positive direction. And I think Laver Cup, Tsitsipas, big match, although it's, an exhibition, when you've got that many players on the bench and it does mean something at that part in a crowd, you don't want to lose. And he came out and he did it. It was impressive.
Yeah, he did, Charlie. I didn't get to see a lot of it, unfortunately, by dint of not having the channel here in Mexico. But I think Tiafoe, from what I read and was told, he kind of showed up when he needed to, not only in the doubles match, but in the singles. It's sometimes less is more. I'm not putting him down by any means, but he kind of was the man, right? He was sort of the hero.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I think I didn't see the full match, but I mean, the first set, Tsitsipas kind of ran through him a bit, started very strong. And I think that kind of the difference or the maturity of Francis is not kind of going away after that first set. And he kept the second set close and stayed in there. And that's kind of that maturing and being a pro where you don't always see the finish line or you don't always see how you're going to do it, but problem solved and got to where it got tight and close and came up with some unbelievable shots and kind of found his game. And it was impressive little finish. I did see the ending and it was awesome.
Oh, you did? Okay, because I think he saved quite a few match points, and it kind of seemed like Tsitsipas was basically saying, okay, I'm not going to win this, but if you want to give it to me, please do. Now, that's kind of unfair because Francis...
I can't go that far. I feel like probably Stefanos, these guys at this level, nobody wants to lose a match at that point or walk away. But I mean, there's definitely taking your chances at the big moment and having the confidence to execute, which Stefanos didn't quite pull out on Sunday.
No, and so it kind of sounds to me, from what I've read, maybe from what I'm picking up from what you're putting down, is that Francis won it. He won.
He took it. No, he did. He took it. I mean, it was I don't know. The world winning. Last time I checked, Europe was in the world, but I don't know much about. I mean, I'm not a big geography guy, so I guess somehow, even when Fed lost, he won because he's part of the world. He's a man of the people. He's a global man. So I feel like somehow when the world wins, both teams raise the trophy. It's confusing.
Yes, it is confusing. And Jack Sock also from winning, helping with partnering with Francis. Yeah, he's probably. I think he's probably the best doubles player in that whole field. Would you? Yeah. Would you tend to agree?
I definitely agree. I mean, it's kind of like the old saying with Johnny Mack back in the day of McEnroe and anyone. It's kind of Sock brings that vibe of his game just is. I mean, he's still a great singles player, but in doubles, it's he can hide his weaknesses, and
yeah,
you're not really getting to the backhand. His forehand is scary, and I was hearing Opelka was on the Tennis Channel broadcast a bit over the weekend, and he was saying, like Stock is the one player when you're playing doubles that, like, when he's got a forehand, you're actually scared. And it's, when it's like he can hit it through guys where, I mean, these guys at that level, their hands are quick. They can take a big forehand, a big shot, and that Sock forehand just does things that you don't see very often.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the RPMs, but one of the things that they do to measure forehands or shots in general, like his is even more brutal than Rafa's, I think.
I can't say currently, but I feel like that was a stat for a while. I'm probably not I'm a production guy now, so I'm probably not your stats guy anymore, but
sure.
I'm going to go ahead and agree because we have no data. No one has the internet to fact check us or anything.
Yeah. But another thing, like, kind of, I think if I'm understanding what Riley said with the commentating, is that it's okay to go at a guy, like if you aim for their hip, you know what I mean? It's a smart play in doubles. You don't want to hurt anyone, but it's okay to jam a guy up.
100%. It's not even jam them up. It's okay to go for them. I think headhunting, like literal headhunting, and headhunting in the sense of it's going for their face in the where it's going to hit the back fence. These guys, you're purposely trying to just hurt somebody, but going for them and trying to hit people, it's a great play if you can. I mean, it's a percentage play at times. Yeah, it's the only play. Like some people got on. I think Francis took a couple at Fed and Rafa even during the double. It's a great play. Like, and they're not upset. Like it's part of the game. And if someone's moving or it keeps them honest as well. Where if you go line and they're covering it, they're there. And so sometimes, kind of like a serve, going for the body serve or going to jam somebody is sometimes the best kind of the percentage play.
Yeah, it is. And like sometimes it is the only play. And, even if it's funny, there's a guy, Flock and Seguso were a great doubles team. And I think Flock, they both had mullets, kind of like mine. I don't know if you noticed it. It's growing in.
It's nice.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd comment on that.
I can't see, this is a very two-dimensional screen here. So I'm seeing this. So if you took the podcast, if you did the podcast from the same angle as your credential photo, I would be able to tell, but you should just only talk. Yep. Why did you come? Are you trying to go like blue steel? Why is that how you took all photos, or did you submit that at the time like that?
Charlie, I have 3 Tennis Channel open credentials. They're all different pictures. It's a game time decision. It's like going to the DMV. They line you up in front of that camera, and it's nerve-wracking.
I don't, but I think this DMV, you should, I think if you took it at that angle like that, they'd have you take the photo again. So actually, I don't think it's anything like
the DMV. My mugshot? I mean, not my mugshot. I mean,
your mugshot, same. They would probably also go, I mean, they'd ask you to turn, but they also, it's a planned, you do your turn front. So.
No, I was notorious. And Charlie, I have some of my credentials behind me because I'm sort of insecure. So it kind of like makes me feel like I'm the man.
You are the man. You don't have to feel that way. You don't need a credential photo to tell you that.
Thank you, Charlie. And by the way, the beard looks great. Is that new?
In the last 10 years, 15 years. Is that new? New since I was your intern. I guess like if this was our first time, I guess from then it's newish. I'd probably like probably a little like tough mustache. So yeah.
No, it's great growth. I love the coverage of the beard. No grays.
Thank you.
It's very handsome. I mean, it frames the face.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, Charlie, last thing I do want to, because I don't know if you knew this. I used to live in San Diego. They had a tournament there this week, a 250.
Yeah.
Won by an American. It was an All-American final. I don't know if you've seen Brandon play.
He's good. He's kind of underrated in the sense of, he's not talked about as much as some of the
Exactly.
Sebi Gorda and the guys coming up. But I mean, he's a real gamer. Coach, he spent quite a bit of time with Dusan Vemic over the years as well. I don't think they're still working together, but yeah. So Dusan brought a lot of good knowledge, and we did a mic'd up practice with them once for the tour last year, and just interesting to hear kind of what he brought forward to him, but also with Dusan, you get that Serbian connection, which also means you get the Novak connection, which actually Nakashima brings a little bit of the Novak game style in the sense of not quite the ball striking, but a similar vibe.
Djokovic, or is that too simplistic?
A little simplistic. I mean, he's still coming along, but they spent, I remember maybe 2 or 3 US Opens ago, I saw them, and he stayed around and was hitting with Novak on the off day, on Novak's off days with Dusan. So he got a lot of probably, I don't know, maybe other times as well, but my guess, they probably spent some time together, but getting that sort of feedback and hitting partner, it's got to be good for some future there.
Yeah, I mean, a little different than your internship, but similar in the same way, right?
Similar, less naps.
Yeah, less naps. Yes, true. Yeah. Well,
I think Djokovic has one of the sleeping chambers, so maybe it's a similar amount of naps, just less expensive.
Thank you, Charles, thank you, by the way. And by the way, we share something in common besides a great beard and love of tennis. My middle name is Charlito. In English, that would be Charlie or Charles. I don't know if you knew that about Bradley C. Falkner.
I didn't know that you had a Spanish middle name, so that's interesting. That's news to me. So.
Why do you think I live in Mexico, bro? I mean, come on. Or hermano.
Well, fun fact to ride us into the sunset is Can we
get going? Do you have a wife?
Yeah, I do have a wife and a baby. Was that a subtle hint there? But Carlos.
No, I'm ready.
Carlos Zorro. My last name is Zorro in Spanish, so I don't know if I had to tell you that. Right. You should know that. Yeah, so I'm Zorro.
I do now. I'm gonna.
You live there, and you're telling me your Spanish name, so I figured that would be a language that you had mastered living down there. But
no, I haven't really mastered anything except for better naps. Siestas is what they call a nap. You know what I used to do at work?
Siesta. Fair.
Yeah. So Charles, no, seriously, it's been a lot of fun, and thank you for talking about Brandon and his game, because he was the finalist in Cabo in 2021, but we weren't allowed to go on site that year. It was like the U.S. Open when team won. Fans weren't allowed to go, so I haven't seen him play a lot. So I appreciate what is it called?
It's good. It'll be a nice little name in your hometown event in the future. I think that'll be a nice one on the winners board. No one's going to be upset with a Nakashima former champ.
All kidding aside, and I like what you said about him, and he doesn't get mentioned as much. Do you see him as a top 10 player?
It's hard to say. There's so much talent coming up where, I mean, even just the Americans, there's 10 guys that potentially could be top 10 depending on how their careers unfold and their games develop. So, and then you still have to throw in Medvedev and Zverev and Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic still plays. And you can keep listing names, Tsitsipas and Casper Ruud, Slam finals is so it's hard to say. It's a very fun time in men's and women's tennis. And I think, I think he has potential to be there, but I think time will need to tell a little bit just because of the amount of intangibles and growth that needs to happen.
Sure. Well, Charlie, thank you. Thank you. And by the way, not only thank you, Charlie, thank your wife and Jack, your 2-month-old prodigy.
Thank you. That's what we tell everybody.
With us. It's been great. So basically, this is what I'm supposed to do now. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wild West Tennis Podcast. Remember to like and subscribe. If you're watching or leave a rating or a review.
Yep.
If you're listening to a podcast platform. Did I miss anything?
I don't know. I felt like you just read that, so I don't think you missed anything. I feel like if maybe we got to get this. You know what you could do?
Okay.
Just 2 cents. You just take a little Word doc, open it up on your computer, read it through the computer. It looks like you're looking forward. This felt a little red. Head down. Yeah. You want the eyes forward.
Oh, yeah. Do you see the thinning hairline too?
No, actually, that's your own insecurity seeping through this long distance Zoom call or whatever this
Charlie, thank you. I'll work on that. And I'm
actually on 1% battery, by the way, on my computer. So if you actually need to clean out, it's literally going to die any second. Sure. We can ride it to the sunset.
No, yes, we will.
Let's ride it to the sunset. I think look, I'm putting my hands up here too. So
me too.
When it dies, it's a real excuse, and it's not.
No, you can't leave. You're faking it.
No, I'm still here.
All right, Charlie, thank you. I did what I had to do. Seriously, can we do this again in maybe, I don't know, 3 years?
I mean, I'd love to. If you're not too big time for me by then, it's nice that you're still making time now. But hopefully, I'm still in the phone book in 3 years. The way this is trending, with the way you take those photos and the way you turn that face at a 45-degree angle.
You mean this photo? Is this the photo you're talking about?
That's the photo.
Yeah.
One step. Okay. You do that?
Oh, see, you got to go, Charlie. I'm going to get you in trouble.
I'm still on 1% though. I want to see. This is the most amazing. This is kind of like.
See ya. Charlie had to go. He wasn't lying. But again, thank you for tuning in to the Wild West Tennis Podcast, and please remember to like or subscribe if you're listening on a podcast platform. If you're watching this on YouTube, that would be great if you would follow the channel, like, subscribe. And if you don't like it, that's okay too. Let us know how you feel. Good night. Or as I used to say, adios.